Hi everyone. After just a few technical details I needed to deal with, here I am. Welcome everybody who would like to listen to my continuous learning journey at EPAM, uh, especially a learning journey of a person, a, a private story, so to say. So it is not going to be about my career and I think everybody will have their takeaways from my story. But let me share with you first the platform of our cooperation today. Some of you have already found the Mentimeter platform. Yeah. What you can do is open up a new window, please, and go to menti.com where you will need to use the code 479037 and please follow my instructions. First of all, it would be great if you could send me a thumbs up if you are in, because it's kind of feedback for me how many of you are following and whether you are following it at all. There might be some of you who don't receive the sound immediately, but I hope everything's gonna be fine with that. Okay, 3 of you. Good, good, good. The more the better. Good. Yeah, maybe the stream has started doing their job now. Okay, great. Okay. So, guys, because there are so many of you present already, I would like to start up. Hi, how are you tonight? Let me introduce myself. My name is Krisztina Palyer. This is the bigger version of mine. Maybe some of you know me from the English classrooms at EPAM, or maybe some language schools in Szeged or Budapest, or maybe some training rooms I have conducted trainings in, and maybe some of my facilitative events you took part in. So hopefully we've met before. Uh, but today I won't be telling you about the steps of how I became what I'm doing now. Some other things. Let me just continue. So my name is Krisztina Palyer, and I've been with EPAM for 12 years now. You might be wondering how somebody can work for a company for this long, but actually it's not impossible, you will see. And I am working here as a soft skills trainer at the moment. And I would emphasize at the moment because you will see there are plenty of things I'm having in mind and I'm going through. Sometimes I facilitate events, as I told, and actually I'm happy to have a job where I need to learn continuously. It may sound a little bit weird for some of you, but I think getting out of your comfort zone and learning something new is always something very positive, and it brings actually some positive vibes into your lives. For example, what I learned, it was on Friday, I learned how to get help remotely for my laptop. I had some issues with downloading the streaming application. And yesterday, I was shown how to stream a presentation. Hopefully, I will be able to remember all the details for my later career. And today, I've learned 2 new functionalities of Mentimeter while I was preparing this presentation. So I'm almost a Mentimeter guru, as you will see. And actually, I also learned how to try safely whether this Mentimeter looks good enough. And all this just for a 15-minute presentation and a 1 hour training I'm going to conduct. You might be asking why. I might ask back, what have you learned today? You can type it in. I'm really curious what you consider learning. It can be anything. Learning how to prepare certain food, learning about how to conduct, for example, a training, how to deliver a presentation, how to cook something, how to talk to people in a very polite way, how to greet somebody, maybe a new word in a foreign language, maybe something you have never seen before. Uh-huh. Somebody, this platform Mentimeter, and how to run perfectly. Wow, wow, wow. Connect to MongoDB. I envy you, to be honest. I know just the name of this. Baking gluten-free cake. Uh-huh. Sounds good. Maybe we should get in contact. I might be interested as well. Um, it is, as you can see, not necessarily just piece of information you can learn, but there are some skills how to run perfectly or outstanding presentation. Maybe somebody has delivered today an outstanding presentation. French onion soup. It might be useful for later on as well if you want to give your beloved ones something great. How to talk in meetings. Good, 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 good. A Flutter simple app. Yes, some people I have here connected to baking, maybe because I have seen here more and more types of food. But somebody, how to use resources. How to use this maybe that app. Something useful. Learning about learning. Goodness. Okay. Aspect of a technology. Okay. It is also very important. And actually, my colleagues who were there and gave a presentation, they might have delivered some thoughts to you which you learned about. It's good. It's always good to learn something. You may feel kind of power. This is one of the reasons actually why I've decided to lead you through my learning journey that is maybe not very visible for outsiders, but only for myself. This is a typical story which you don't necessarily share with others, not with an audience like this. I strongly believe in actually what happens deep inside a person. So, real personal stories are more intriguing and fascinating to listen to and bringing the audience a little bit closer to the person giving the talk, as if they were sitting around a fire at night, listening to the storyteller, imagining, almost seeing what they are telling about. Unfortunately, I myself won't be able to see my audience tonight, but I figured out something to make it more like sitting around the fire in a circle and exchanging thoughts with you to make it real. You can get in touch with me via Mentimeter. Okay, let me get started with my story. Almost 30 years ago. You might be wondering, I wasn't a little child anymore. I was a teenager at the age of 16 at a secondary school, where my class was told we couldn't choose English as a second language besides German, as there weren't enough English teachers. Every one of us was very, very upset about that, maybe even furious, and we started to think about what we could do. Actually, not too much, as there weren't enough English teachers. You know what I did? Can you imagine? Just try to guess, I'm really curious. At the age of 16, a teenage girl, being furious about the situation of not having the opportunity to learn English in the 90s, where it was already necessary for us to know English and to learn as many foreign languages as we could. Oh, self-study. I became a teacher. Yeah, maybe a little bit, a little bit later. But that's a good approach. Okay. Any more guesses maybe you have? Okay. Learn English on your own. Maybe some of you know me quite well. Okay. Any more? Learn on your own. Learn Russian. Yeah, babysitting in the UK. Good idea, actually. Some of my um, trip mates did this, but a little bit later. Motivate people. Yeah, maybe motivate people to start learning together with me. Okay. Know someone with good English knowledge, maybe. Yeah, all these could have been very good opportunities to continue with. You know what I did? I went to a bookshop and bought the book Learning English with just a few words. The original title is Kavish Soval Angolul, and I started learning English by myself. I went through the book, which was 100 pages maybe, and I kept asking my roommates at the dormitory how to pronounce the words and let them explain things I couldn't understand. And actually, I continued for 8 years like this, from different English course books, also during my studies of German and Dutch at university. And again, a few years later, I was already teaching German at a secondary school where I was told it was a pity they had to terminate my contract as a substitute teacher because the colleague who was on maternity leave would come back. For those ones who know the language situation in Szeged, it's obvious that a degree of mine in German and Dutch is an impossible combination for earning a decent salary, especially at language schools and very often at secondary schools. So, what would you have done if you had been me in this situation? I was actually fired at the secondary school where I was teaching, and I had no hope to get another job in another secondary school, especially not as a Dutch teacher. To be honest, nobody has here Dutch teachers at secondary schools, I guess. Maybe German I could have taught at that time, but it is actually not typically a language which is chosen in Szeged very often. I think English is, on the one hand, more popular, but even French is more popular in some of the secondary schools. And I think, getting into a secondary school is kind of impossible, mission impossible, so to say, without having somebody who helps you getting in. So I'm really curious what you would have done. Somebody would have learned another foreign language. Okay, Russian. Guess what? Maybe English. I'd cry first, then try to find another job that I like. Yeah, this is a possible option to change careers because I think sometimes in some of the jobs you don't really have further opportunities or in a job market. A pan friend, yeah, maybe for getting married. Move to Germany or Austria. Yeah, this is something I thought about, to be honest. start teaching online before the dot-com boom, and building a website for this business and hire more teacher. Wow, maybe I still can do this. But it's not a bad idea. Thank you for that. I owe you. Is there anybody else? Start English personal classes. Yeah, the thing was at that time my English wasn't good enough. Um, I continued though learning from different books, but it was more like informal learning, learning by myself, and there was not too much of a formal education in it. So I think it couldn't have been the best one, the best choice. So I was desperate. I just didn't know what to do. It was in the early summer. There was no chance to get new students for German lessons, not to speak about Dutch. And then I remember one of my colleagues at the secondary school told me they would start correspondence studies for English as a foreign language. I asked about the details, started learning English again to try myself at the entrance exam the following year, and I succeeded at the entrance exam. It was actually a fantastic feeling. I felt it was going to be the beginning of a beautiful journey to end up as an English teacher and earn a lot, and then I would be okay professionally. I went through the college years, got my degree, and did an additional program for teaching business English, and so that's it. I'm safe for the rest of my life. And I started teaching for more language schools at the same time. Everything was running smoothly, and I had many grips. What do you think happened at this moment when I felt absolutely safe, being okay with my career, being maybe in the best position of my previous career? I'm really curious what you think happened. Some of you may know the situation. Okay, anybody? Really curious what you think because I felt absolutely safe at the very moment when I needed to uh, start thinking. Okay, then some kind of crisis, a miracle. Okay. Got bored in your. Uh-huh. I'm the type actually who gets bored in my routine. Uh-huh. I got offered a German teacher job. No, unfortunately not. My position wasn't really cancelled, but you know what happened? For many different reasons, language schools started becoming too expensive for people, and the courses were disappearing. Language teachers could only teach for companies as they were the only ones who could pay their fees. But for most of the companies, general English was obviously not enough in their course. They wanted to have business English courses. Okay, it wasn't a huge problem. I went through the business English program at the teacher training college as well, but I need to say it was still quite hard to get used to new kind of English and to questions that were extremely hard to answer. You know what they asked? How do you need to say this? How do you have to formulate that one in a meeting? These things were absolutely unknown for me as I haven't ever participated in an English speaking meeting. I learned it from books. And while I was teaching at the language school, I was asked to teach for EPAM as a contractor as well. And to be honest, after 2 years, I was teaching only for EPAM and actually business English. And it was like more than 20 hours a week. So it was perfect. I thought I don't need to move between different companies. Everything is fine. I was already teaching business English well, and I thought everything was going to be fine now. And there was a little difficulty I needed to deal with. What do you think it could have been? You know, it is actually the thing is, it was the students. Although I was teaching business English well, they needed something different again. They were complaining. They wouldn't understand the customers in the meeting. They had customers with different accents, from different cultures, different habits, different working styles. Communication styles they weren't able to deal with, and many other problems that were related to their everyday work, which actually needed to be done mostly in English. And at this point, I became desperate again. How would I be able to deal with all these aspects of the use of English language? How could I help my learners in the English courses to deal with all this stuff? And to be honest, I was wondering how they can perform in such a difficult environment. I thought I wouldn't be able to survive in an environment like this. But we were in good terms, they were my colleagues, and I really wanted to help them. So I started to listen to them, what exactly their problems were, and started learning about them and bringing all the stuff to the English lessons. And we were experimenting together, whether this or that would work. And then they came back to me and reported on their success and also on some further difficulties. And you know what I decided to do at this point? I started learning about how they work, what exactly they do in their daily jobs, and what their difficulties are. And then I started to investigate what soft skills are needed to succeed in an English speaking environment at a multinational outsourcing company where the vast majority of information is written and needs to be used in English, where people work in teams with multiple nationalities and cultural background, very often distributed teams spread over the continent. And I ended up teaching English courses on soft skills basis. And after a while, soft skills trainings as well. And by doing this, I needed to learn many new things and skills, which made grow up, so to say, to be able to conduct soft skills trainings as well. And here I am. At the moment, I'm conducting soft skills trainings, but I don't know yet what the future holds for me on my learning path. I hope this story will continue in a very positive way. And I thank you for your attention. Just a tiny little question for the end. What is your takeaway from this story? This is maybe the most important part of the whole conversation. And I can just hope having people's minds throughout the whole session and being able to give you something. Learn, learn, learn. Wow, wow, wow. Change is a new opportunity, for sure. And this is what I've experienced both in my learning career and not only in my learning career, but throughout my whole life. Never stop learning and never give up. Giving up, I thought very often of giving up, but I think it is not an option for me until I have my energies. And you have to wake up at 5:30 and work to change your life in person. Wow, what a beautiful sentence. Never give up and always be agile in the ecosystem. Thank you so much. This must have been my colleagues. Really. Never give up. I hope you take it away and you learn, grow, and succeed in your careers at EPAM and wherever you are. Thank you very much for your attention. Uh, I cannot take questions at the very moment because I need to continue with the training I'm going to deliver on self-motivation. But I hope for those ones who are already present and have listened to my talk, they will be able to, so to say, get some things out of this little speech for the self-motivation part. Thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing you in my training on self-motivation, which I'm going to start in a minute. I just need to change my screen. Thank you very much.